Well, for more reaction on all of this, let's bring in a distinguished university professor at Touro College, St. Rosenbaum, and constitutional law attorney, legal analyst, and GOP strategist, Amir Benno. Amir, I want to start with you. Where does this stand now? Because we have the statewide mask mandate struck down. We have the AG now saying that they are appealing, but saying that schools still have to mask kids while that appeal is in place. What are parents supposed to do? Who is in charge? Who makes the final call?
So where we're at right now is that this was struck down by the Supreme Court. That's the lowest court, trial level court in New York. The Attorney General's office filed a notice of appeal, and today they filed papers seeking to stay the injunction. That means let's keep going with the kids in the masks. That's what they want. And one thing that I have to correct is that the status quo is not kids in masks. The status quo was kids without masks. It is the state that disrupted the status quo by putting them in masks. The argument is that, and this is what the Supreme Court found, is that the legislature never gave to these executive agencies, the Department of Health, the power to promulgate this rule, and that they did it in violation of the democratic process by using an emergency process that they shouldn't have used. So we're waiting now to get a judge from the appellate court to decide on that stay application from the state. We should get that decision later today.
Yeah, thanks. Just to underscore for people, because it could be confusing, in New York State, the Supreme Court is not the court of last resort. It's the trial level. So we need the Court of Appeals to actually hear the case and issue some sort of ruling. What is the constitutional issue here?
Well, as Amir pointed out, the issue here is not unlike what we saw with the Supreme Court of the United States a few weeks ago in connection with the vaccine mandates, right? And the idea there is, can the chief executive, whether of the nation, the president, or the governor, make decisions related to public health that supersede the decisions of either Congress in the federal system, or in this instance, what the trial court judge ruled yesterday in Long Island, can the governor supersede the power and the authority of the state legislature? And the Brooklyn court said no, and very similar to what the Supreme Court said, that the chief executive doesn't have that authority. But this really, as Amir points out, this really goes down to the very lowest levels of local control. When it comes to local control, whether it's small businesses, whether it's schools, right? Is it the chief executive of the state? Is it the legislature? If for schools, is it local school districts? Or is it parents? And we're seeing that played out all over the country, including the state of Virginia, in which that governor has issued an executive order that provides for mask optional learning, which is the exact opposite of what we have here in New York City.
And in some cases, they're putting kids who are not wearing masks down in Virginia in separate rooms. There are reports some have been sent home. So, Amir, how does that play itself out? What needs to be decided there?
Yeah, well, separating kids, segregating them is really awful. But the issues are different. In Virginia, there's a couple issues. One is their state constitution vests the power in schools over the school districts. It actually is embodied and enshrined in their state constitution. The second issue is they had a state law that was passed. So it went through the normal democratic process. And that state law last year said that the school districts have to follow CDC guidance to the maximum extent possible. CDC is guidance is saying that kids from kindergarten through seniors in high school should be masked. So that's not what we have in New York. And what Kathy Hochul was saying in that clip, by the way, is that she's here to protect New Yorkers. What she swore an oath to do when she assumed her position, both as lieutenant governor and governor, was to support the Constitution of the state of New York. And the Constitution of the state of New York forbids her from doing exactly what she's doing.
All right, Thane Rosenbaum and Amir Benno, thank you. I was taking notes. I'll be ready for the midterm. And I hope a teacher's assistant does have a class so ahead of time.